Perfect. Here we are. Great. Well, I'm Greg Kopchuk, CEO of Action Coach Canada, and I'm interviewing Ian Portsmouth, who is the editor and associate publisher of Profit Magazine. Thank you for taking time to be interviewed by us, Ian.
Thank you.
Now, Ian just did a great presentation about some successful things business owners do in the fastest 50 growing companies, according to Profit Magazine, 2 or 3 of which are being coached by Action Coaches. And so what we're going to do is we've sat down now and we want to talk to Ian. You can also watch his video on our website. So Ian, tell us about your background is in philosophy. So how did you end up becoming an expert in entrepreneurial growth and business in Canada?
Well, that's a great question, one I get asked quite frequently. I have a philosophy degree from the University of Toronto. No business education whatsoever, no formal business education. But when I graduated from philosophy, they weren't really hiring many philosophers the year I graduated. So I took another course in book and magazine publishing, and that course got me a placement at Profit Magazine, where I've been now for 14 years. And that's where I learned everything that I know about running an entrepreneurial business.
Great. Wow. So according to your LinkedIn status, you were only one year long away from a combined honors BA in English and philosophy. So are you still considering achieving that, or waiting until you're retired?
I've given up on that dream entirely.
Uh-oh, what happened there?
It's a lot of work, and by the time I get time to do it again, I will have forgotten all of my my Aristotle.
Okay, well, that might be a good thing. So you've been with Profit Magazine since 1995 in different capacities. Can you comment on the state of the printed magazine in today's economy, and is it still viable for sales, or is the internet going to be the only option for it?
I think the magazine has a very bright future. I think that there are a lot of publications out there that aren't really in a good niche, or aren't the leaders in their niche, that are going to struggle. For many things, it's not just the internet. The cost of paper is going up, the cost of postage is going up, so that really impacts the magazine industry. But the magazine medium is a medium that really creates amazing engagement between the publication and the reader, and it creates levels of engagement that you don't get in other media, especially not online.
Okay. And I've been an avid reader of the magazine for over 16 years. As a matter of fact, Greg from College Pro Painters, when I started my first company, I actually called him because of one of his articles in the magazine as well.
Of course, Greg has been a columnist of ours for many years.
Absolutely, he's great. I love him. So to make it in any career, you need a lot of support. So what support systems do you have growing up that help you achieve what you have done today?
That's a great question. None of my parents were entrepreneurs. They weren't executives. They weren't in the media business. They weren't journalists. But I think they gave me a very strong work ethic, and I think the work ethic is still what differentiates a lot of successful people from less successful people. You can become a workaholic if you have too much of a work ethic, but I think the world needs people who are constantly thinking about what they can do to improve the business that they're in, and a lot of those ideas come to people when you're not in the office.
Wow, excellent. So this year, Greg, you announced a new awards program with Export Development Canada, the Canadian Export Achievement Awards, which are the greatest benefits to companies who decide to expand internationally. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Canada Export Achievement Awards are launching this year in Profit in conjunction with Export Development Canada are putting them on. We're recognizing the successes and the success strategies of small and mid-sized exporters in Canada. And the reason we wanted to do this is because we all know that there is a huge exporting opportunity out there for Canadian small and mid-sized businesses, but research indicates that most small and mid-sized businesses don't think that global markets are an opportunity for them, and more often than not, Canadian companies think that the market that needs them is only the market in their backyard. So they're missing a lot of opportunity, and we're hoping that this program can expand their horizons.
Well, you actually pointed that out in your presentation, the one imaging technology company with the digital X-ray.
Yeah, so Imaging Dynamics is a company that produces digital X-ray machines, And they knew that if they were going to compete domestically, they would be up against a lot of the giants of the X-ray business. So the first place they started with their X-rays was in emerging economies in Asia, and they've achieved an amazing growth as a result.
Okay, great. So why did you decide to host a business coach podcast? What value do you see in having a business coach working with a small business? Cheap plug here, I know.
I think entrepreneurs they always have challenges, they always have new challenges, and they always need solutions to the problems that they face on any given day. And our Business Coach podcast, which we do in conjunction with Bank of Montreal, is a source of what I think is timely information, where we give people 10 or 15 minutes with an expert on a topic that is timely and relevant to their business. And as you know from business coaching, entrepreneurs, they can never come up with all of the solutions themselves. The most successful entrepreneurs get a lot of their ideas from other people who've been there and done that. So it's always important to be looking outside of your own company and your own office for ideas.
Okay. Now, everyone's probably wondering, how do you go about selecting the people for these podcasts? Like, what background do they have, or do they have achieve some great success in some specific area?
So the Business Coach podcast has a mix of successful entrepreneurs and business experts on the program. And a lot of the experts that we bring onto the program to provide commentary are people whose businesses are either extremely specialized, so they're one of the few people out there who might specialize in a particular category, or they come from larger, reputable firms where we know that the quality of the people is going to be high.
Okay. So in your estimation, what is the strongest piece of advice you can give to someone who's considering giving up a salary job and the security of that and branching out on their own, given the state of Canada's economy today and given the fact that most Canadians are probably risk adverse?
It's difficult. I think it would be very difficult to tell a person that they should leave their salary job and start their own business. But I think people just make that decision on their own. I think that entrepreneurs take that leap and they don't need a lot of prodding. I would say that it is going to require more work than they ever imagined. But I would also say that we are really entering an entrepreneurial age. The way that markets are changing and social structures and business structures are changing, this is going to be the age of the freelancer. This is going to be the age of the entrepreneur, where big companies really rely on a lot of smaller businesses to provide services and goods so that those larger companies can focus on their core competency. So the age of the conglomerate, I think, is going away, and the age of the entrepreneur is here.
Excellent. So what do you find most challenging about being a media commentator on entrepreneurial issues?
What do I find most challenging about that? Well, to use a cliche that I hear from many entrepreneurs, there's no challenges, there's only opportunities. So. Right.
Okay, so what opportunities?
Well, it is very good. To be in a position like mine, you can never develop deep expertise in any one niche of business management, but you do have to have a very, very broad knowledge. So I think the biggest challenge is number one, developing enough knowledge in enough areas of business to provide commentary or to be able to analyze and synthesize the commentary of other people. I think that would be the biggest challenge. And of course, staying on top of trends is difficult because we're the people who are expected to alert business owners to emerging trends, opportunities, and threats.
Right.
And that can be a challenge, of course.
Yes, I can imagine. So tell us something that most people would know about Ian Portsmouth.
What would most people know about Ian Portsmouth? I hate to say this publicly, but my hair used to be almost down to my waist.
You don't look that old to have your hair that long.
I'm older than I look, which is a blessing, I have to add.
Peace, brother. I remember back in the 60s, eh? So, tell me, Ian, what do you see as your goals and objectives for the future?
I would like to see Profit Magazine grow. I think we have an amazing property, and I think that it could be a lot bigger than it is. So I'm looking forward to taking Profit to bigger and better places, online, offline, in new media, and to really make Profit the place where people go when they want the best management advice for small business that you can get, and where they can meet other people, either through the pages of Profit or directly through our various events.
Yeah, and I can certainly attest to that. Like I said, I've been a reader of Profit Magazine for over 16 years. And the one thing I find really difficult is trying to find the magazine on the newsstands. So where can a guy go on, what's your website so we can either subscribe to it or make sure we get any information on a regular basis?
So we do sell subscriptions. They're $30 a year, profitmagazine.ca.
Okay.
But otherwise, if you walk into any major newsstand, such as a Chapters Indigo, or other of the smaller newsstands that aren't related to bookstores, you will find Profit Magazine. And again, we're at profitmagazine.ca.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ian. I really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
All right.